Okay, so here we are on Barry Peatling's channel, his show. We're going to interview Chelsea. It's an exclusive interview, Barry. Don't forget that.
No money, it's only 20,000.
20,000. We've paid him. He's been paid, but we can't say that because the salary cap people will be around.
Around the corner.
Anyway, back to the intro. We're going to interview Anthony Lewis, star footballer, captain of the Chelsea Football Club this year, newly appointed, of course. Is that right?
Yeah,
newly
first year of the job.
Excellent.
Very good.
And that's a big gig because it is A grade football, one step away from the VSL. Yeah, okay, so it's a pretty good big gig. So welcome, Anthony.
Thanks, Carl. Lovely to meet you.
Well, it's nice to be met. And Barry, of course, everyone knows him, so we won't introduce him too much.
No, I just said that.
So what?
In the back room.
That's enough from you, Barry, for now. So what do you think of the season so far?
Well, it's actually been surprisingly successful. Yeah, for the club. Yeah, new coach coming in. We didn't know how he was going to go.
Yeah,
I played 1 year.
This is Chaps.
Yeah. I played my first year in 2001 with him as a player.
Okay.
And he was a bit of a hothead.
Was he still playing then?
Yeah. He left.
He was a gun.
Yeah, good footballer.
Bit of a hothead, though.
Bit of a hothead.
Okay.
Bit of a lunatic.
So if you did something wrong, he'd let you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but I always got along really well with him, and talking to him over the summer, he was pretty keen to get me sort of in the leadership group, and so I was sort of very close to him.
So this season, what do you think of the actual season so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Like we recruited a couple of good players in the off season and managed to keep the Harrisons and the Carmodys and the McLeods and those sort of guys. So the nucleus was there from last year, but this season, awesome. 7.5. Power.
Yeah.
Gun.
Absolutely.
Gun.
Absolute gun. And I see you're sitting second on the ladder.
Yeah.
Clear second on the ladder.
Second, yeah.
And percentage.
Yeah.
You got YCW there. Frankston YCW. What's I mean, their percentage 273. Won every single game. They smacked you a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just looking forward to the finals. Is that too daunting, or is
it's going to be a tough one.
Can you think that way?
Well, apart from YC, and we got Coringa when they had Laid, and they gave us a big touch up as well. Yeah. But I think we can get Coringa on our home ground, with or without Laid.
Okay.
Next time, but YC, they're as good as I've seen in the 10 years I've played.
They've had a couple of crucial injuries though.
Do you know Wesley Eames is injured?
I heard Anthony's knee. Yeah. So
he's half the size.
I mean, that's unfortunate for him, but
hey, Robert's there
everyone else.
Yeah, true.
Stephen Roberts are over 34. He's out 4 weeks.
I've got one big question. It's not here on my run sheet, but they had a representative game just recently, 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And now there were no Chelsea players. What's the deal?
No, well, me and Steve Harrison were in the squad, but neither of us got a phone call from the coach, so I don't know whether we did something wrong before that.
Well, that's a bit shocking. Even if they said that you weren't in the team, I mean that's just courtesy, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got another question here. What about this Saturday's game, the one that just passed with the Pines?
Yep.
I
played. Yeah.
It says in the paper here, or on the Sporting Pulse, that you got best player, and also if you check out Barry's earlier video, he gave you 3 votes.
3 or 4.
Well, they got right for a change, Colin. At least they must have been the right game.
Definitely my best game for the year.
Okay.
Those 4 quarters.
Was your injury? Were you feeling your injury, or
not Saturday? No. So last week was my first game back after sort of 3 off, and I wasn't tentative, but you know it's in the back of your mind when it's your first game back. But during the week I trained really well, and I was pretty keen to play a good game Saturday, and
You didn't play against YCW, did you?
I missed YCW.
Of course, I remember saying you called me for.
And Powell missed it as well.
Okay, so that might have been a crucial thing for the next game. Do you play them again this year, or is it finals?
We play them one more time.
One more time.
Yeah.
Okay, that should be interesting. How many games have you played for Chelsea so far?
Well, I played. I think at the end of last year I was on about 160.
Really?
Yeah.
Barry was saying to me earlier that you've been in the club for almost 11 years.
Yeah.
11 seasons.
11, well, that's pretty much 11 years.
2001 was my first year. Yeah.
Well, okay, so it's 10 years. Okay, okay. So it's a long time. You're a young man back then. You're a young boy, really.
Well, you're 18, weren't you?
Yeah, 19 I think. I turned 19 that season, yeah.
You come off the tram or something,
Yeah.
Come off the tram.
Yeah, off
And so,
Trent Highway.
and what do you think about the club, Chelsea?
Oh, I've loved it. I
Yep.
love the club. When I first got here, I sort of just wanted to have a kick, and I came down to Melbourne from Albury for schooling, and
You come down with Dougie, didn't you?
yeah, and Dougie was down here, and
Was he there before you come in?
Well, he played juniors, yeah.
Was he here before?
Yeah.
I knew he was your cousin, you were, I think?
Yeah,
That's
cousin,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
So I came down, and that year Paul Hopwood coached, and I knew the name from him being an ex-AFL player.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So
Who
I
did he
thought-
play for?
Melbourne.
All right, yeah, sure.
He coached that year, and I
couldn't
thought,
coach.
well, it must be a good
Yeah.
standard. So
Well, Lee Matthews came from here too, which
Exactly.
is pretty good. Okay, so it's a good club. Now, what about your relationship with Barry? How long have you known Barry?
I think this
Well,
first day I got it.
well, when I
No.
first, I told you before, Colin, before we come on the air,
Yep.
that I could remember it like yesterday. A practice game, and I was standing alongside Graham Stewart, which is
Yep.
Ryan Stewart's part. I seen this fella, and I said, "Who's he?" Where'd you get him from? He said, "Oh, we got him off the tram, off the train." Anyway,
40 kilos away there.
and
Wow.
they were 6 stone and about 4 foot
40
tall.
kilos ringing wet,
Yeah.
as they say.
But that was it. And it was, from then on, he was.
Yeah.
Well, he was on his own. You didn't have your father. You were on your own company. Who was you living with?
I was living with Steve, my cousin.
That's
Yeah,
right.
on
The
other side,
band.
Yeah, we're
The
living
band
in
man.
Cheltenham, so. yeah.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of the time Barry speaks a fair bit of rubbish, but every now and then,
Not too much,
he pops out a bit of good advice. Has he given you any advice that
Yeah,
like
he's-
about your footballing?
He's always been a good supporter of mine.
Okay.
And he's always thought I've been jibbed a few times with best on grounds and votes in the best and first.
Yeah.
So I've always opened my ears up to him. But no, apart from that, he has given me good advice to just take him on. And
Yep. Because
and
Barry
have a
played in his day.
Fair sort of player.
fair sort of a player. Got a few.
Got a few thousand cutouts there. Wasn't
few
Paul,
cutouts.
didn't up in Australia, wasn't it?
Flex your cutout. It's all
But
modern.
I know
these
about
days. It's
football
all-
when I see one, Colin.
Well, that's right. Yes, that's. I mean, you do. And so, now just getting on your play again. Who's the best player you played on?
played on.
Yeah. Is that just off the top? I know it's a
Yeah,
question without notice.
early days I played on a guy called Chris Kirchival. I don't know whether you remember him from Hastings, and he was sort of my size, and he won a league best and fairest. He was a couple of years older than me. And
Chris who?
Kirchival, he left the league after
1 year.
he played in the
Combined side.
2002 Premiership combined side.
And is he gone? Where'd he go?
He went to WA to play in the Waffle.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so he was awesome.
Okay,
and he
yeah.
always towered me
But
up.
Michael Burke used to have a good deal with him, didn't you?
Yeah,
In Parliament.
Berkey from
He's still playing, still, isn't he?
Coringal.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a gun. And there was a bloke, Michael Caine, when Rosebud were in our comp. That was,
Right.
I always found him hard to play on.
Pretty
so-
tough guy.
Singleton, too. He had to go
We,
dirty ass, wasn't
look, we don't want to say this is the thing. See, people watch the video and he says, "Oh, this bloke from this team," then that just boosts their
Yeah,
confidence.
back
So
on,
it's good.
exactly.
It's good
Don't
to
give
just
them, don't give them.
don't you want to give
Not
a
the
sucker
present
an
day
equal
ones,
chance?
Colin.
No, not the
Get on
present
the-
day ones.
The
Okay.
last few years I've played on kids, so...
Okay, well that's good, isn't it? Everyone's a kid now.
There's only about 3 or 4 fellas on him tagging every week.
Yeah,
Staying
okay.
off-
Well, that's what happens with the Stars.
They do. Gotta put up with that.
Just let's take the focus off you for a second, and being as the captain, what are the Chelsea's chances this year to take the big prize?
I think we're a good chance. The way we're playing at the moment, the last few weeks, we've cemented second spot. And as long as we keep beating the sides that we should, and don't drop off like we have the last few years, you sort of drop games to sides you shouldn't.
Yep.
I reckon if we finish in the top 3, you get that double chance, and hopefully, get YC on a day where they're not playing so well, and
Get them on an
we're
off
playing
day.
out of our skin. We can do them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good attitude, because you got to have that. We can win. I mean,
Yeah.
Hawthorn had that when they played Geelong, where they say,
Exactly right.
shark. You got to stop it from moving. That sort of attitude.
Yeah.
And if you have that attitude against YCW, then you can knock them off.
It's the only way to do it.
So
mean,
if they haven't got anything, they're going to start the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
It's a 2-horse race. One horse is
Exactly.
going to win.
Yeah,
And,
they could win every game for the year and still lose in the grand final.
Well, just got home on Saturday with 96 points.
so just a
Yes, is third.
just a controversial question.
Yep.
Why weren't you captain 5 years ago
Well,
when you were dominating?
it kind of... That was around the time I think Tim Scott Brannigan was coaching, and he bought a lot of the guys like Mitch Grant and Sammy Radford and those from Sandringham VFL.
Yeah.
And I was happy to play sort of in a leadership role, but not be the big wig, so to speak, and sort of just learn off them. But I reckon the last couple of years I've sort of stepped up, and I've sort of taken a bit of ownership of that sort of side of it. And
Well, I think you're vice captain about 5 years in a row, weren't you?
yeah, I was. Yeah,
Vice captain 5 years.
So you're sort of saying you weren't
I
ready.
definitely wasn't ready.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, but you're ready now.
Barry thinks I was ready, but
Barry thinks you're ready, but you're
think
ready
you
now.
are. I think
You're
you're
ready
ready.
now.
I am. I feel
I think it was
comfortable.
ready a long time ago, Colin.
Okay, well, no, that's good. That shows a bit of humility, and humility is not a bad thing, Barry.
Well, it didn't affect his football ability.
So one final question. You've got a band. What's the name of the band?
We're called Black and White.
Black and White.
Which I don't know why, because I'm an Essendon fan.
That's a bit
What happened
sad,
to
isn't it?
format? You changed that.
Yeah, we used to be the format.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're now the Black and White. Where do you
Yeah.
play?
All around the city. We had a gig Saturday night in Carlton.
Okay, where's your next gig anyway?
Next gig is at the Corner in Richmond.
Okay.
My old pub.
Yeah, old
God.
Clubbing Ground.
The corner in Richmond, when's that? Just
It
to give it a
is.
plug.
Yeah, it's
One street and little corner, narrow streets.
that's the one. It's on
Yeah.
July 30th.
Yeah, that's a station.
July the 30th, so
Yep.
in about a month's time.
Yep.
Okay, so the viewers can check that out. What sort of? Well, how would you describe your band?
Well, it used to be
Wild.
It used to be wild and heavy back in the day, where Baz used to come down to Phillip
We
Island and
never
watch.
felt one
Yep.
when watching it.
But it's a bit more commercial, dare I say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you
But
got
rock and roll.
a bit more rock and roll.
Yeah.
So you still got the same band, same group?
Yeah.
Oh, good group, a good band, I tell you.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you
free
very much.
tickets.
That's it.
Cool, Colt.
That's all the
That
questions.
it?
And
That's the wrap.
thank you and Barry for well, it's Barry's channel, so I'm not really thanking you. You should be thanking
Oh,
me.
shit, thanks, Dave, for having me on your channel.
Well, 20,000 is a reasonable sum.
Keep watching, viewers.
Yeah. Check out some more interviews and maybe on the ground interviews like Channel 7 sort of thing. Or Channel
Probably
10.
do that. Get around the ground with a little,
On the boundary.
little
Well,
television hat.
that's goodbye from me, viewers.
Goodbye from me
Goodbye from me.
and goodbye everybody.